friends, this is Crystal Payne from MoneySavingMom.com here, and we are going to do another Money Making Mom scope, and this one is on marketing and selling, and we're going to talk about why you should stop selling stuff. Yes, that's what we're going to talk about. So if you're intrigued by that, be sure to stick around so we can talk about what I mean by that. Alrighty, welcome. We've had a lot of trolls recently, and so we've been working on, sometimes at the beginning we just have to ban a bunch of them, sadly, because otherwise the regulars cannot get on to comment. So, alright, so for those of you who are new, my name is Crystal Payne, and I'm the founder of MoneySavingMom.com, as well as the author of the book, Money Making Mom, that I just got to see in Target today. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I'm super excited that it is in Target now. But anyway, so we are going to talk about all of this week. I'm talking about self-publishing and marketing, and today I want to talk about specifically about the whole subject of selling, because this is one of those subjects that is kind of a touchy subject, and people are like, should I sell? How much should I sell? What is, how much is too much? How much is annoying? How much is being pushy and all that? So I'm going to challenge you that you should stop selling stuff for the most part. And I'm going to define what I mean by that so you can understand, because I'm not just like, don't ever sell anything. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to more the concept of just pushing product and pushing people and saying buy, 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 because that can get really annoying. So I am a big fan of selling stuff in the context of having people buy stuff from you. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of making money. I wrote the book called Money Making Mom, How Every Woman Can Earn More and Make a Difference. But I'm not a big fan of being annoying. And so we're going to talk about that. What do I mean by that? Well, yesterday we talked about the whole concept of building an email list. And building an email list that is a targeted email list around a specific subject that is to help sell whatever you have to sell, whether that's a product, whether that's a service, whether that's something digital, whether that's an ebook, whether that's a book, whatever that is, to build a specific email list that's targeted to your market. So today we're going to piggyback off of that, and I want to talk about the whole concept of how to sell well. And what do I mean by that? Well, I think that it's much more important that you provide content, that you provide helpful services, that you give people free stuff, versus just saying, buy my product, buy my book, buy my ebook, buy my stuff, pay me money, give me money. That is annoying. Instead, build trust. And here's a couple of ways that you do that. Number one, by developing content around whatever it is that you have to sell. So, for instance, people all the time will write me and say, I want to advertise on your site. Can you promote my product? Can you talk about my product on your site? Because for those of you who don't know, my blog, MoneySavingMom.com, gets about 1.5 to 2 million unique visitors a month. So there are a lot of moms and a lot of eyeballs that see whatever I post on my blog. And so that means that people who have stuff to sell want to have it talked about on my blog. So they'll write me and they'll try to get me to post about it for free. Now there's nothing wrong with that, but I can't post about all the stuff that people ask me to. I can't, because Otherwise, all I would be doing all day long is selling stuff, and that's not what I want to do. So many people, they'll feel disappointed and they'll be like, she wouldn't post about my stuff. But here's the thing. You could provide content. You can write a guest post on my site. You can write a guest post for other people's sites. You can write posts on your site that you're providing content. That is a great way for people to get to know you. And by getting to know you, then they're going to be interested in what you do. And if they're going to be interested in what you do, they're going to want to know what is it that you sell. So first, provide content. How do we do a guest post for my site? On MoneySavingMom.com, if you go to the header, there is a submissions form. There's a drop-down form on there and has our guest post submissions form. There are all the details on how to write a guest post. Many other sites accept guest post. We don't pay for them, and we don't pay people who write them because it's a service that we offer to our readers, and it's a great way for us to introduce you to our readers. But it's free, and it's a great way for you to get your name out there. Now, we have very, very strong kind of guidelines that we follow and what we're looking for guest posts. And so don't take it personally if we don't accept your guest post. It's nothing about you and everything to do with maybe we've already had something on that topic. Maybe it's just not a good fit for our audience. Maybe we feel like it'd be a good fit for another kind of audience. But there are so many audiences out there that you can write for, and you can get your name and who you are and your content in front of these people, and then people get to know you, and then they want to see what you sell. So develop content around your concept or product, and then put that out there versus saying, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. So write articles you can write for your local newspaper. You can write for other online sites. You can write for other blogs. You can write for your own blog. Figure out where would the people be that would be wanting to buy your product, and then go write in those avenues so that people discover you. Don't just say buy. Give them a taste of who you are by creating content. That's how you build a relationship. Number 2, promote freebies more than you promote what you have to sell. So yesterday I talked about the importance of building an email list, and I talked about giving away something when you build your email list. Don't just say sign up, give them some incentive for signing up. I showed you how I have a 5-day course. I will show you. Someone said that freebies bring in the cheapskates, and that can be the case, but not necessarily. It depends upon the kind of freebie that you are offering, because if it's the kind of product that people need to get to know you first, a freebie is a great way for them to get in the door, them to build a relationship with you, and then to you've earned their trust, and then they will buy from you. So, for instance, with my book, Money Making Mom, cheapskates buy too. Okay, so I talked about this. This is my free 5-day course on how I make a full-time income from home. This is at MoneyMakingMomBook.com. The reason that I offer that for free is because I want people to get to know me. They're not just going to go to a store and pick up a book, probably that they've never heard of the author, that they have no relationship with the author, that they know nothing about the book or the author. But if I've built a relationship with them, if they know that they can trust me, then they're going to want to see what else do I have to offer. So promote your freebies more than you promote your product. And this is really important if you are doing interviews, if you are doing guest posts, if you are on Periscope. The best thing that you can do is, instead of pushing people and saying, buy my book, buy my products, buy my ebook, sign up for this, download this, and asking them to pay you money. The best thing that you can do is sending them somewhere so that they can sign up for something that then they will build a relationship with you, that then you'll earn their trust, and then you can sell to them. So many people miss out on opportunities when they're doing interviews, when they're on Periscope, when they're writing guest posts, to send people somewhere that you can capture their email address and build that relationship. So instead of talking about, for instance, I changed in the last year whenever I do interviews. I changed from always kind of talking about my book or my product or my website to talking about something that's of value to the people who are listening. So sending them to MoneySavingMom to sign up for my free 5-day course. If I'm talking about my other book, Say Goodbye to Survival Mode. If I'm talking about this, I will send them to my course that I have, which is a 7-day course that's free on saying goodbye to survival mode. And so I have different things for different topics, and I will send them to that. And that's a service. So I'm not only kind of piquing their interest, but I'm giving them something of value. And then that's how I'm going to build a relationship. I don't want it to be like just a one-time buyer where they buy my book or they check it out from the library and they read it and they're done. I mean, I'm grateful for that, but I want to build a long-term relationship. And so it's so much better if I build a long-term relationship by building that rapport with them up front. So number 1, develop content around your product by doing articles and guest posts. Number 2, promote your freebies more than your products. So give something away for free to build that trust through scopes, through guest posts, through interviews. Whatever you do, think about how can I push people to something that's going to be free and of value to them so then I can build that relationship. Now, soft selling is your best friend. And what do I mean by that? If you have a product or service that you are offering, the best thing that you can do is to create awareness. So nurture relationships and create awareness. People need to know that your product exists. So right now, this scope, you see me, I'm holding up this book. I'm talking about this book, but I'm not saying, buy my book, go buy my book, go buy my book. I'm not saying that. I'm telling you about the book, the marketing behind it. I'm creating awareness for this product so that you know that it exists, but I'm not asking you to buy it. And that's just not what I'm doing, but I'm creating awareness. And everything that I do, I want to create awareness about what I have to offer, whether that's something for free or whether that's something that costs money. Now, ultimately, I have to pay my bills, and so, some people are going to have to buy something because otherwise we're a charity and I can't pay my team. But I don't care. I mean, for me, it's like if you get my book at the library, that is great. That is fantastic because I have multiple streams of income and it's not only dependent upon you buying a product. Product sales are one part of our business, but they're one of many. So there's other ways that I'm earning money off of nurturing that relationships. Maybe it's when I encourage you to sign up for something. Maybe it's when I tell you about a great freebie that I will have worked with a company and they will be paying me per sign up if you sign up for that freebie. Or maybe it's because you come to my site. There are ads on my sidebar and I make money off of those ads. So there's a lot of different things. So it's not just about pushing product, but soft selling is your best friend. And what do I mean by that? Well, it's creating awareness from new and different angles, but it's very, very, very sparingly pushing hard for people to buy. So I call it a soft sell and a hard sell. And a soft sell for me is when I am creating awareness, when I'm nurturing relationship, when I'm talking about the product, but I'm not asking you to buy. A hard sell is when I'm saying this is on a really great deal, or if you purchase today, you will get this, or this offer ends today. So I'm doing a hard sell, and I do that sometimes. If you follow my scopes or you follow my blog, you know that I do that sometimes, but not very often. I'm very, very careful about a hard sell because if all you do are hard sells, you're going to turn a lot of people off. So soft selling is your best friend. And I want to show you an example of just today. I soft sold, sort of, on my Facebook and on my Instagram. So I told you at the beginning that my new book, Money Making Mom, is in Target. And today I had a chiropractic appointment that was right next to Target. And I had my 6-year-old Silas with me. And I said, let's run in, let's see if Target has my book. And so I ran in there and yes, Target had my book, which was super exciting. But I wrote this So I took this picture of my son, which he totally posed like that without any encouragement from me, because he was so stinking excited that my book was in Target. I had to kind of like be like, okay, let's like chill. I don't want to create a scene in Target because you're so excited, because I'm an introvert and I don't create scenes. That's not what we do. But anyway, so I was super excited, and my publisher had actually asked me if I would promote on social media that my book was in Target. But I didn't want to go out and be like, hey everybody, my book's in Target. Please go buy it in Target. That's going to just kind of be annoying. A lot of people have already bought the book. So me asking them to go buy it again, that's just weird. And also asking them to go buy it in Target when maybe they can't afford it. Maybe they have already got it at their library. Maybe they got it when it was just on sale on Amazon for $2.99. So I had just promoted it because it was on sale. The Kindle was on sale for $2.99. So I'm not going to like just promote it at $2.99 and then like a few days later be like, go buy my book in Target. Like that's too much selling. But I could come up with a creative way to let people know that it was in Target. And so what I did was I just literally did this short little mini blog post on social media that was just my thoughts of just exactly how I felt about seeing it in Target. I'm going to read it to you. It says, today is a pretty exciting day. I never ever thought I'd have a book in Target. In fact, just a few months ago, someone asked me if my new book would be in Target. And I said, no, I doubt I'll ever have a book in Target. I just don't sell the thousands and thousands of copies required for them to consider it. And I was content with that, truly content. I'm just honored to actually have 3 published books, something I would have never dreamed would be the case 10 years ago. But then, not a week after that conversation, I got an email from my publisher saying that Target had picked up my book and would carry it in January. So yes, Silas's face here is pretty much how I feel about this. Surprised, thrilled, humbled, overwhelmed, overjoyed. And mostly just grateful. Grateful for the opportunity to write words. Grateful for the privilege of getting to share those words with the world. Grateful for the faith my publisher has placed in me. Grateful for my loyal and amazing readers who have believed in me and in this book. Grateful that God does it abundantly above all we could ever dream or hope or imagine. Grateful that He uses broken vessels for His glory. So, as you see, that was me just pouring out my heart on Instagram, on Facebook, saying, that was just how I felt standing there in Target. And so I was creating awareness about the book being in Target, but I wasn't saying buy my book. And the cool thing is that people were so excited. Like this post on Facebook so far has gotten a really, really good reach. And on Instagram, so much excitement about this post. Had I said, please go buy my book in Target, it's in Target now, would you please go buy it? Or something like that, it wouldn't have gotten the excitement, because this is my heart coming through, and that's what people are going to relate to. That's what they're going to connect to. And they got it. Yeah, it's in Target. But I didn't have to let them know it was in Target by pushing them to go buy it in Target. So that's what I mean about soft selling. You create awareness and you share your heart and you let people get connected to you and help them understand who you are and the heart behind what you do. And that is going to probably not only build a ton more relationships than you're ever going to build by just pushing product, but it's also going to build the long-term loyalty of people who just love you. But it's also probably going to sell more product because people are going to have that deep relationship with you, so they're going to want to buy what you have to offer. And when you don't ask them to buy very often, then when you do, they pay a lot of attention. So that's what I mean by stop selling stuff. And it's just something that I've learned. And honestly, I am still trying to figure out, for instance, on Scope, trying to figure out what's the balance of selling versus giving away free stuff versus just talking and getting on here and chit-chatting. I feel like Facebook and Instagram, I've kind of got a good happy medium. On my blog, I kind of have figured it out. But Scope, y'all are just my guinea pigs, and I'm learning right along with you. So I'm figuring out as we go, and I'm making mistakes. So if you see me do something on Scope and you're like, I should do that, don't necessarily do that, because I am doing a lot of experimenting. But anyway, it's fun to have this brand new social media platform that's so different than anything else for us to experiment with and figure out what works, because we're all on this together. We all started kind of at ground zero together with this new social media, and it's fun to learn together. Oh, thank you so much for your kind comments. How long have I been on Periscope? I started on Periscope, I think it was the beginning of September. I spent about 2 or 3 weeks really paying attention to what worked on Periscope, what people who were successful on Periscope were doing, and then, yeah, Joy just says September, and then developing a plan for what I wanted to do and what I felt like would work for me on Periscope. And I feel like having that intention going into it really helped me to be able to be more successful, instead of just kind of getting on, just saying, hey, I don't know what this social media platform is, I'm going to try to figure it out. Hi, is anybody there? I was more intentional with it and kind of put the word out before I did my first scope, and that really helped, I think, to build momentum. So anyway, you want to use Periscope, but it makes you so nervous. Here's the deal. Just hit start broadcast. Make a plan, know what you want to do, have an outline. I always pretty much have an outline. Here's my outline for today. I always have an outline. I always have an open and a close and in the middle. I need that outline because I want to give you valuable information. But have that outline, make that plan, and then just, you can do it. The first week of Periscope, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I was so nervous. It made me so nervous. And there are still many times, especially if I take a break, when I get back on Periscope, then it feels weird and awkward. And there are many times when I'm like, this scope is turning into a train wreck. But you just keep doing it, and you just keep learning. And that is how you grow as a person. You just have to push that start broadcast button. You can do it. So it's better than reading blogs. I think it is too. Well, I feel like a lot of people don't like Periscope because they feel like it gets a little chit-chatty and it's long-winded and they can read a blog post faster. But I think the beauty of Periscope is that you get to know the scoper at a much deeper level, and you get to build that relationship, and you feel like you really know them. I always feel like if I have talked to someone on the phone or on Skype, I know them a lot more, even if I've never met them in person, than if we just emailed back and forth, because the personality can come through. And Periscope is about community. Like Stacy, I feel like I've gotten to know her so much better because of Periscope. And there's different people, Mackenzie Monroe, that I've gotten to know through Periscope. And I feel like I know them because I watch their scopes. And you get to know who someone is. And people can quickly decide, this person is not for me at all, or I really like this person. And everybody's not for everyone. And that's the beauty of Periscope. There's a lot of scopers out there, and you can choose what works for you. How do you decide who you will watch? Yeah, and we're going way off the rails with this, but I haven't done really a Q&A for a while. So we'll just, I think it's just who inspires me. Stacy, like for instance, Stacy from Stacy Makes Sense, who's on here, she makes me laugh. And some days I just need to laugh. And so I love it. She always makes me laugh. And my husband a lot of times will listen in to hers because we'll be in the car or I'll be cooking in the kitchen or whatever. And he will be like, who is this girl? She's really funny. But what did she really just say that? Yeah, so Stacy, yeah, my husband thinks he's not quite sure what to think of you. I think he really likes you, but I think, like when you start talking about muffins and stuff, the other day he was like, who are these girls? Who are these girls? Who are your friends? So I know, poor Stacy is sick today. We love her. What are good topics to start with for a newbie? I'm assuming you're talking on Periscope. I would say think about what are those things that you're really passionate about. So for instance, I'm really passionate about marketing and about helping people make money. And so I love to get on here and talk about money-making mom topics because that's something I'm really passionate about. It's also something that I have a lot of life experience with because I have been blogging for 10 years and it's been about 8 years for sure that we've been making a full-time or more than a full-time income. So think about not only what you're passionate about, but what you have experience with. And I would challenge you to start with doing short and simple scopes. So maybe having 1 or 2 points, and get on, have your intro, have your body or middle section, and then have your closing. Have it outlined on a piece of paper, kind of practice it in your head, and then just get on and do it and get off. And then watch it and say, okay, what can I do to improve next time? What worked, what didn't work? Be your own best critic, because we can be our own worst critic, or we can be our own best critic. And so be your own best critic in the sense of that you watch and you learn from your mistakes and you learn from your successes, and you say, okay, how can I take that and how can I improve in the future? How do I keep the camera stable? Well, right now, to be perfectly honest, I got a new tripod because my old tripod broke 2 trips ago. It completely broke, and so I had this tiny little tripod. So I got a new tripod yesterday, but apparently I ordered the wrong one from Amazon. And so right now, I have the little tripod that's like wrapped around the big tripod, and it's held together with tape. So I can't show you, but it's held together with tape. So, you know, use a music stand. That's a great idea. It's just been one of those tripod issue weeks. So have you ever heard of Toastmasters? I have. I've never done it. I had pretty much my very first speech, talk, presentation, whatever. I think it was 6 years ago at a blogging conference. I thought that I was going to be on a panel. And for 5 years, I basically run away from anything that had to do with me and public speaking and me and platforms because it scared me to death. But I decided that it was this blogging conference and it was this little panel, and I thought, panel, blogging conference, I love to talk about blogging. Okay, I'm going to do this. And I said yes. And then I found out that I was billed as the opening keynote speaker. Apparently some miscommunication happened somewhere. And for some reason, I decided I didn't chicken out. Well, I did chicken out, but I said yes, and I did it, and went up there and read every single word of my talk. It was like the worst talk in the history of mankind, but I made it through. And I got off of that stage, or down off of that stage, and decided that I needed to do something to learn how to give talks, because I didn't have a clue what I was doing and needed to learn, and I felt like I was supposed to challenge myself to get outside my comfort zone and do this thing. And so it was a year of me shaking in my boots every single time I had to get up on a stage. It was very hard, but I grew so much as a person, and I feel like blogging kind of broke me as a person. It broke so much of the insecurity and of kind of the people pleasing and the performance and all of that, and I feel like speaking healed me. Standing up on those stages, doing this really, really hard thing that I was so scared of, and kind of just gutting myself on stage and being really honest and authentic and vulnerable, and crying sometimes on stage because I was being so authentic and vulnerable, and I am not someone. For years and years and years, I'd held all that emotion in and kind of letting it out on stage. It was very scary, and I felt like I was just this raw, honest mess. But it was like all those wounds and scabs had to be ripped off so that then they could be healed again. And so really blogging broke me, and speaking was what healed me. And I'm still on a healing journey, but it's so cool to see the wholeness of just me being able to get on scope and not being scared to death, and me actually enjoying it and making mistakes and saying, you know what, that's okay. I can be real, and I can make mistakes, and I can be honest, and I can be vulnerable, and I don't have to be perfect, and I don't have to worry that not everybody's gonna like who I am and how I am and what I say, and that is okay. You heard me speak at a homeschool conference almost 4 years ago. That was probably in the time when I was still very, very, very scared of doing it. It's so cool because this year I'm actually not doing much speaking at all. I'm doing some local events, but I'm not really doing much speaking at all. But I ended out my year 2015 and stood on a lot of stages and was able to do it in complete confidence of who I am in Christ and not worrying about what other people thought about me, and just feeling like I had done it. Like I was speaking from this place of wholeness, and it was so exciting to me to be there and to see the years and years and years of putting myself out there and doing this really hard thing, and then be able to speak with that wholeness and that confidence. So anyway, how is waking up early doing? Well, we're on day 2 and I've done it. So I was so tired about halfway through today, and went out to the chiropractor and to Target like I talked about, and that I feel like that kind of helped wake me up again. So my husband and I are doing the Makeover Your Year coaching tonight. That's our first, it's kind of a big deal, and so I knew that I needed to be awake and alive and present for that, so I'm glad that I am. But hopefully tomorrow is 3 for 3 with waking up early. What time do you go to bed? Well, don't ask me about the last 2 nights, because I'm trying to get back on the rhythm of going to bed at 9 is my plan. We're putting the kids to bed at 7:30, trying to wind down and then be asleep at 9 is the plan, but I'm going to have to work towards that because it's something that I'm still working on. Okay, we are totally rambling here, but this has been fun. I was going to tell you guys that if you go to MoneySavingMom.com/scope, there are 2 resources there that I wanted to mention. And let me open this up. One is, I haven't talked about this much recently. If you are wanting to get your calendar under control, there is this free Makeover Your Calendar course you can sign up for. It's a 7-day course, and that also signs you up for my email newsletter. That's my personal email newsletter where I just kind of share newsy stuff that's in my life going on, books that I'm reading, that sort of stuff. And then I also wanted to mention, if you are interested in publishing, self-publishing especially, there is right now this week this free course that is a free course on how to become a best-selling author in 2016. And this is about writing a book and getting it published, especially about self-publishing. And it's by Chandler Bolt, and he was a college dropout, and then he became a 5-time best-selling author and 7-figure business owner in just 2 years. So if you are interested in the idea of self-publishing and you wonder, how does it work? How would I get started? How would I go about that? This is only available this week, or this week and next week, I believe. And so if you go to MoneySavingMom.com/scope, there's the link to sign up for the free 4-part course on how to become a best-selling author in 2016. So thank you all for sticking with me for that long and kind of, I guess, that was a squirrely scope. But it was fun to get to hang out with you all, and I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. for our morning motivation show. Have a great day.